After qualifying for the Champions League quarter-finals, Arsenal are on their way to the Bernabeu. Aura Ball versus Arteta Ball, Saliba versus Mbappe. So today we'll break down all the details going into the game, as well as getting a major Andrea Berta update, finding out what midfield targets are on his radar, getting an update from David Ornstein and Alexander Isak. We'll also discuss who could be starting in Arsenal's must-win game against Chelsea. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bass14, welcome back to your boys channel, and Champions League quarterfinals, here we come. The Arsenal are off to the Bernabeu. So as per, smash a like on this video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're starting off with the Champions League update. After a 7-1 victory against PSV last week, a quarterfinal place already booked. Come to the Emirates Stadium, Mikel Arteta made a lot of changes. In a starting 11 full of left backs, on top of the returning Ben White. In a game that Arsenal had a 1.34 XG to PSV's 1.69, this was far from any sort of masterclass. More a game for experiments, as Kieran Tierney started as our left winger, in a game that at one point, Arsenal were playing 5 left backs outfield. The main experiment was Alexander Zinchenko, starting as a number 10 and dropping a 7.2 rating, with 1 goal scored, 28 touches, 18 accurate passes, as well as 1 big chance created. Not just playing as a number 8, but playing in the role of Martin Odegaard, Zinchenko was weirdly thriving in midfield. Having also played there for his country in Ukraine, it was not entirely a brand new role, something that Arsenal fans have been calling for so long. Despite Zinchenko's obvious defensive flaws, not being anywhere near elite 1v1, his strength has always been progressive passing, able to fire balls in behind and break the lines. I'd actually go as far as saying in terms of risk taking, Zinchenko is one of our bravest players in the squad, always an eye in behind trying to get Arsenal up the field. I wouldn't say that it was a midfield masterclass, but what we saw was Zinchenko's profile being maximised, playing more to his strengths and less to his weaknesses. Having seen Mikel Arteta throw him into midfield in the past few games off the bench, despite rumours that he's set to leave Arsenal this summer, after years of Arsenal fans demanding, give Zinchenko a go in midfield. In the hour of need, Mikel Arteta has finally started to listen, as left-back FC cruised away into the quarter-finals. With a front three of Kieran Tierney, Mikel Merino and Raheem Sterling, it was Raheem the Dream that won the man of the match, as Sterling dropped a 7.4 rating with 2 assists, 2 big chances missed, 3 key passes, as well as 1 big chance created. That is now 45 goal moments in the Champions League over Sterling's entire career, 27 goals and 18 assists, with only David Beckham, Harry Kane, Wayne Rooney registering more among English players. As Sterling said after the game, "I still believe within myself that I've got a lot more to play here. And that is always going to be the main thing. We're talking about belief." Raheem Sterling is a player that has achieved nearly everything. A multiple-time Premier League winner, bursting onto the scene at the age of 17, having only turned 30 in December. This game was gargantuan for his confidence. Playing on the right-hand side, bursting past his man on numerous times, providing 2 deliveries, with a fantastic second assist for Declan Rice. Sterling's a player that will not be here past the end of the season, but if he's able to make any sort of contribution, use his experience in the Champions League to be a game changer off the bench, moments can definitely be provided. As Arsenal progressed to the quarterfinals with a 9-3 aggregate, our opponents have been confirmed as Real Madrid, after beating Atletico opponents in what was a dramatic game, going 1-0 down at the first minute, missing a penalty, then going through in controversial manner, with all the talk after the game about Julian Alvarez. Did he touch that ball twice? But for Arsenal, our focus is the 15-time winners. Arteta Ball versus Aura Ball. The Mbappe of centre-backs versus the Saliba of strikers. Declan Rice versus Jude Bellingham. For the first time since 2006, Arsenal are going to the Bernabeu, with the first leg to be played at the Emirates Stadium, the second in Madrid. For me, our only hope going into this game has to be our defence. With Simeone's Atletico would have been a hard stylistic match, a team able to play a ferocious deep block, which as we've seen time and time again be Mikel Arteta's kryptonite. Madrid are more about individual moments. Going forwards, the quality of Mbappe, Vinicius and Rodrigo. More moments to the likes of Jude Bellingham. William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes are about to receive the ultimate test, with Madrid set to miss some very important players. Militao, Carvajal, Ceballos and Vallejo injured, Tchouaméni missing the first leg via suspension. There are a lot of nerves going into this game, but as Thierry Henry said, you may as well not go there and play if you don't think you can go and beat them. Just like in 2006, Arsenal are nowhere near the favourites. We are versing the European heritage team, as well as the defending European champions. According to Opta, Arsenal are actually the slight favourites going into it. Stats wise, Arsenal are actually the slight favourites, but we all know that is far from the truth. Because when it comes to playing against Real Madrid, it's not just about being perfect tactically. We have seen teams do that time and time again. The prime example being Borussia Dortmund in last year's Champions League final, outplaying Real Madrid for most of that game, but hit by the storm of Real Madrid who took their chances. Against Real Madrid, it's not just about being perfect tactically, it's also about getting lucky. Stylistically, this is going to be a very interesting battle. In terms of Madrid, far better going forwards, Arsenal stronger defensively, but do not be fooled into thinking Real Madrid cannot defend. Having seen them against City last year, using our own tactics against them, Real Madrid are known for also playing deep blocks, relying on their counter-attacking pace, being one of the most dangerous teams in transition in world football. For Mikel Arteta, this will be the ultimate European test, progressing into the quarterfinals in back-to-back years. Arsenal's current form, of course, is amazing. 10 games, 7 wins, 1 defeat, 25 goals scored and 6 conceded, having yet to lose a single game at the Emirates Stadium since returning to the Champions League last season. On the same side is PSG versus Aston Villa. If Arsenal were to somehow beat Madrid, the semi would be either Unai Emery or Luis Enrique. But also for Arsenal fans, it's time to be a bit excited. Years and years after waiting for Arsenal to be at the European top stage, watching from a distance in the Europa League, 1 year not even being in Europe, no matter what you make of this season, the fact that Arsenal are back on the big stage, this is not a moment to be scared but more a moment to enjoy. See how you rank against the best team in Europe. Can you cope with their world-class attacking? Real Madrid are coming to the Emirates Stadium, where strange things have happened and no stranger will it be if Real Madrid come here and lose to Left-Back FC. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What are your thoughts going into this time? Do you think Mikel Arteta's Arsenal have a chance to cause one almighty upset? Moving on to Andrea Berta's first moves. As Arsenal qualify for the quarterfinals of the Champions League, having now reportedly earned £85 million, with the arrival of our brand new sporting director Andrea Berta, reports claim going into the summer, Arsenal are set to have a massive budget, with even the reliable Handy Virgil confirming Andrea Berta has been tasked to close the deal for Martin Zubimendi, which is yet to be finalised. Arsenal believe they have done all the groundwork to land the Sociedad midfielder. Sources say his parent club have lost all hope of retaining him beyond this summer. A long-term target of Mikel Arteta also wanted by Liverpool last summer, but rejected by Zubimendi, who chose to stay. With the departures of Thomas Partey and Jorginho, Arsenal definitely need midfielders. But it seems like Andrea Berta may also have other midfielders on his mind, as according to Ben Jacobs, Berta is also keen to sign Bruno Guimaraes along with Martin Zubimendi, as information confirms that Arsenal have £300 million for the next transfer window. Bruno has a verbal agreement to leave for £70 million if Newcastle don't reach the Champions League. With the departure of 2 experienced midfielders, Arsenal will need multiple names. Zubimendi and Guimaraes is definitely ambitious, but a lot of Arsenal fans are asking the same question. Do we need Zubimendi if we're going for Bruno? Zubimendi being knocked out of the Europa League last 16 by Manchester United, playing in the second leg and dropping a 6.9 rating, with 31 accurate passes and 1 keeper. It was far from a stand-up performance, watched by many Arsenal fans who were not impressed. At the same time, we of course can't be so judgmental. If a player is wanted by Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City, there's normally a reason behind it. But with the arrival of Andrea Berta, a man who tried 3 times to sign Bruno Guimaraes to Atletico Madrid, if there is a verbal clause on his contract, you got a player 27 years of age at the peak of his powers, Premier League proven, one of the best players in the league when it comes to playing those decisive passes. When you're losing the quality of Thomas Partey, a player known for his ability to break the lines, the idea of Bruno next to Declan Rice, for many is a scary prospect. Where Bruno is similar to Thomas Partey in terms of that passing, Zubimendi is more like Jorginho, less about the physicality and more about being smart. If the budget is £300 million and Arsenal have the money to spend, signing both could be a dream, because they're also players that help us win now. In a recent interview, current Nottingham Forest fullback Ola Aina, talking about the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool. They are fast-paced and direct, whereas we are far more methodical. As fans, what we see of course is Arsenal being a lot slower. But when you've got a player who's played against us speaking so highly, you start to learn about the on-field point of view. Now for the first time, Ola Aina spoke about Arsenal, talking about how difficult it is to play against our build-up. Andrea Berta has some massive midfield moves to make, especially when you think about Declan Rice, who once again scored for Arsenal in the second game running. This time with no celebration though, trying to avoid the celebration police. It all depends on where Mikel Arteta sees the future of Declan Rice. A number 6 or number 8, with the arrival of Zubimendi and maybe even Bruno. Where do you guys see the Arsenal midfield going? For Andrea Berta though, another priority of course is the brand new forwards. And according to Christian Falk, while Arsenal have been in contact with the management of Nico Williams, FC Bayern are now also interested. A player that has a release clause on his contract from around 60 to 80 million euros. Arsenal and Bayern wanting a player hasn't always worked out in their favour. Think about the sagas of Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber. According to quite a few reports in January, Arsenal were doing their groundwork trying to convince the player, who is now finally open to leaving Spain. But it seems like Arsenal may also look in Bayern, because according to Christian Falk, we are also currently in talks with representatives of Leroy Sané regarding a free transfer in the summer. However, Arsenal are prioritising Nico Williams, who is wanted by Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Wingers of course will be important, but the priority of course is more central. That's why you've got a report from David Ornstein who confirms Alexander Isak is on top of Arsenal's transfer list for the summer, with even Florian Plettenberg confirmed, as exclusively revealed back in November, Isak is on the list for Arsenal in the summer, with the 25-year-old now a concrete target for Arsenal in the next transfer window. That's where we're once again looking towards Andrea Berta. Arriving from Atletico Madrid, a team known for great centre-forward recruitment, if the budget is as big as reports claim, fund allocation is going to be very important, with centre-forward of course being a priority. If you then go for 2 midfielders, we're also wanting a winger as well. I wonder if Arsenal are going to make a big sale, with reports from Saudi Arabia of interest in Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. In the case of Isak, as Ornstein confirms, to even start the conversation, we're looking around £150 million. while Šeško is available for half that price. To my fellow sporting directors down below in the comments, and I'll ask you guys the question: if I was to give you £300 million to spend this summer, how would you invest it into this Arsenal team? Or the international break around the corner, Arsenal duo Declan Rice and Miles Lewis-Skelly have both been called up by England. In the case of Miles, his first ever call up at 18 years of age. As Thomas Tuchel describes him, he is nothing but impressive. Having not even played a competitive game before September, the rise of Miles has been spectacular. Humble beginnings to certified star. In an England squad that doesn't have many top left backs, Miles is now a standout option. But having seen him play midfield for Arsenal in the game against PSV, showing his quality in terms of ball carrying, nearly even scoring in the first half, you do have to ask yourself the question: where's Miles' future best position? At 18 defensively, he is so secure, but with so much quality going forwards. In a midfield market where ball carrying midfielders are a premium, the idea of Miles playing as a left number 8, maximising his elite ball carrying, while also playing to his underrated passing. In terms of fellow star boy Ethan Nwaneri, while not a part of the senior team, he is set to be part of the England under-21s. I also wonder what's going to happen with Declan Rice, with Thomas Tuchel being a big fan, having wanted him back in summer 2023. As Bayern director Max Oble said when Tuchel joined England, it's a good choice for them, and just as a joke, he didn't get Declan Rice here, so now he's going to Declan Rice. We've also got an update though on Benjamin White, having previously not made himself available for England selection. Talks of a dispute behind the scenes with Gareth Southgate. According to Thomas Tuchel, this time around Ben White did not refuse the call, and he would love to be back in the squad. I just think it's a bit too early now, given the seriousness of his injury. I am delighted he's back. We are monitoring his progress, thanks to everyone at Arsenal. After making his first start for Arsenal since November, dropping a 6.5 rating, playing 79 minutes, with one error led to a shot, Ben White wasn't outstanding against PSV, but it's understandable. After a long-term injury, you can lose sharpness. With Jurriën Timber in front of him, he will have the time to slowly get back into the team, recover and train during this international break, with a long-term view of returning to England, playing a major part under Thomas Tuchel, another world-class manager with so much experience. The likes of White, Saka, Rice, Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly, we could be about to see an Arsenal-England revolution. For now though, the focus turns on Sunday, as Arsenal take on London rivals Chelsea, with Arsenal in second and Chelsea in fourth, the current gap being 6 points. Going into this game there of course will be major changes. The likes of Saliba and Timber returning to the team, Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard as well. But going forwards, what does Mikel Arteta do? With the return of Gabriel Martinelli fully fit and available, having come off the bench against Manchester United, playing on the right hand side, could we see him play as a centre forward? Despite the role of Mikel Merino, Martinelli of course is a far more natural forward, with a history of playing down the middle. Whether it's him or Leandro or Trossard, I do believe that Martinelli needs to start. In a must-win game for Arsenal, less because of the title race, but more to save embarrassment. In our last game before the international break, we have got a positive update from Mikel Arteta in regards to starboy Bukayo Saka. As Mikel confirms he's getting closer, he's stepping up and making very good progress. Let's see when we decide to throw him in, then how he reacts and how fit he can get quickly. With the first leg against Real Madrid being the target day, April the 8th at the Emirates Stadium, Bukayo's return will be gargantuan. But in what state is he going to be? How sharp is he going to be? After a long-term hamstring tear, Bukayo will have his eyes on the Bernabeu, a chance to save a season in what many see as Arsenal's final chance of silverware. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all over social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today, as Arsenal go into a massive London derby on Sunday, a chance to inflict some pain, save some face, and go into the international break with a positive mood, with one eye on the Bernabeu. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and of course, in a bit.